They're going to regenerate it, which means total demolition. And when it very first started, it was a case of nothing will happen without your approval. Well, that was lie number one on day one, and it's never changed.
We've got councils of all kinds across London who are trying to demolish traditional council estates. They're actually destroying communities.
It was Mrs. Thatcher whose Right to Buy scheme was a vote winner for families like the Pattersons. She gave them the title deeds to their council house. They gave her tea in return.
Don't you think this is lovely? And the trouble Mrs. Patterson's taken with it. And Mr. Patterson's a handyman. He's put in all these.
The Right to Buy was probably the most popular policy ever introduced by Conservative government.
People who benefit from the housing crisis are, of course, property developers.
Homes are places where people live, not places that you trade with on investment markets.
Housing is a fundamental human need, and it's one that the market just doesn't seem to be capable of providing for everybody to a reasonable standard.
We should be building every year about 240,000 to 250,000 homes, and we're nowhere near that.
I want there to be no hope areas in the new Britain that we want to create.
Essentially, we've had successive governments that simply haven't seen the role for social housing, and they've been cutting it.
You have benefit porn on TV, and that specifically centres around unemployed people who happen to live in social housing.
It's not seen as being aspirational, and aspiration is the key word.
Today, council estate is used as a term of abuse for people who haven't managed to cope in society.
Just type in on Google council housing, and every kind of stereotype you can get about poor people, they've thrown it all into a council estate.
For the last 10, 20 years, housing stock that used to be here is down, it's gone.
Access to housing in Glasgow, to social housing, is nigh on impossible.
Trying to get a house down here is pretty hard unless you've got a bit of cash.
It's what's called managed decline. You run something down, you run it into the ground.
We're human beings, we have feelings and all of that goes with it, the emotions, everything. And it's almost as if they just see you as a thing or a number.